This video is brought to you by Henson Shaving. With just days to go until the US presidential election, Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are dashing across the country making their final pitches to voters, and punditry, speculation and analysis has gone into overdrive. As you'll know, it's not simply about winning the most votes, it's about winning the most votes in the right places. Candidates need to get the crucial 270 electoral college votes to secure victory. So in this video, we're going to take a look at the 7 crucial battleground states and explain both Harris and Trump's potential paths to victory. Before we start, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing and ringing the bell to stay in the loop and be notified when we release new videos. Because of the nature of the electoral college system, the presidential election will effectively be decided in the all-important swing states. For the purposes of this video then, we can pretty reasonably presume, bar any major upsets, the distribution of 445 out of the 538 electoral votes, with a map that looks like this. That leaves 93 electoral college votes from the 7 swing states, which will either propel Kamala Harris to the White House or secure Donald Trump's return. These 7 swing states are the so-called Blue Wall or Rust Belt states, Wisconsin, Michigan and Pennsylvania, and the Sun Belt states, Nevada and Arizona in the west, and Georgia and North Carolina in the east. So how can these create a path to victory for either candidate? Let's start by looking at Kamala Harris. Harris's most straightforward path to victory is to win the 3 Rust Belt states, Wisconsin, Michigan and Pennsylvania, which would provide her with a combined 44 electoral votes. These 3 states are part of the Blue Wall, a term for a wider group of states that reliably voted Democratic since 1992. However, Trump managed to flip these 3 states red back in 2016, and they were crucial to his victory over Hillary Clinton, but flipped back to Biden in 2020. If Harris manages to win Wisconsin, Michigan and Pennsylvania, she could afford to lose the 4 other battleground states, providing she also wins Nebraska's 2nd congressional district, as polling suggests she will, which would provide her a single electoral vote due to the way that Nebraska splits its electoral college votes. In total, that would earn her 270 electoral votes to Trump's 268, the tightest possible margin of victory. This was generally seen as Biden's only viable path to victory back when he was still in the race, but his replacement by Harris seemingly opened up more options for the Democrats. For instance, if Harris wins the Sun Belt, so Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, she could afford to lose the 3 Rust Belt states, ending with a total of 275 electoral votes to Trump's 263. She could, of course, win with a combination of some Sun Belt and some Rust Belt states too. Or, if things go really well for her, Harris could repeat Biden's electoral map, and maybe even pick up North Carolina too, to really solidify victory by winning all the swing states. So what about Trump's paths to victory? Trump's most straightforward path is down the East Coast, where winning Pennsylvania, North Carolina and Georgia would be enough to win 270 electoral votes to Harris's 268. This also assumes that he wins Maine's 2nd congressional district for a single electoral vote, which polling suggests he will. Interestingly, this path to the narrowest of victories for Trump would see the 3 Rust Belt states split, with Pennsylvania going for Trump and Michigan and Wisconsin going for Harris. If the states do go different ways, it would be the first time since 1988 that they voted differently. Anyway, as for the other Trump paths to victory, if he won the 4 Sun Belt states, he would still need to pick up one of the Rust Belt states to secure overall victory. Similarly, if he won the Rust Belt, he would need to win either Arizona, Georgia or North Carolina to reach 270. And obviously a repeat of his 2016 map, or a total or majority sweep of both regions, would also see him return to the White House. So, looking at both candidates' most straightforward paths, you'll notice that the overlapping state is Pennsylvania. As such, with its 19 electoral college votes, making it the biggest prize among the 7 swing states, it's seen as likely to be the deciding state. Unsurprisingly, it's the most polled state this election cycle, and according to 538's forecast, it's the most likely tipping point state, meaning that if you rank all the states by their forecast margin of victory, Pennsylvania is the state that provides the crucial 270th electoral vote to the winner. According to Nate Silver, Pennsylvania has the highest chance, or 32%, of tipping the election, and both Harris and Trump have nearly 90% chances of winning the presidential election if they win the state of Pennsylvania. Now, interestingly, this election has been described as nail-bitingly close, a toss-up, and teetering on a knife edge, because the national polls are very close, and polls in the individual swing states are narrow too. In fact, polling averages generally show 6 out of 7 battleground states, all but Arizona, as being within 2 percentage points. But while at this point the election looks like it could go either way, that doesn't mean the result will actually be close. With the battleground states close, you only need small shifts or polling errors in either direction for Harris or Trump to sweep the election. In fact, Nate Silver's election model suggests that the most likely scenario, or 23.5%, is that Trump wins all 7 swing states, and the second most likely, or 12.1%, would see Harris win them all. Both scenarios would mean strong overall victories for either candidate. 312 electoral college votes for Trump in scenario 1, or 319 electoral college votes for Harris in scenario 2. Now, it's important to note that this is not a prediction, but rather one analyst's model which is subject to change as new polling comes out. But hopefully it does serve as a reminder that we could end up with a final result that doesn't feel reflective of the knife-edge aspect of the race. This also brings us to a broader question. Will we find out who wins on election night? In 2016, Trump's victory was assured by the following morning, but in 2020, it took days for the race to be called for Biden. So with the margins expected to be tight in the individual states, there's a chance it may be a while before we get a certified victor. According to the New York Times, the earliest indication will come from Georgia and North Carolina. If those states look good for Harris, then the race might be wrapped up sooner. But if Trump does well in them, we'll have to wait longer for the slower counting Rust Belt states of Michigan, Pennsylvania and Wisconsin to see where things are going. Now, razor-thin margins, knife-edge races and close shaves are all very exciting, and no one knows this better than Henson Shaving. If you're sick of the gimmicks other shaving brands use, the subscriptions, moisturising strips, lasers, whatever, then you'll need to check out Henson. Because, and here's the dirty secret about the razor industry, even the cheapest dollar store disposable razors will likely give you a reasonably smooth shave. The challenge is the impact they'll have on your skin. To protect your skin while shaving, you need to actually support the blade well, and Henson can provide that quality shave even with cheap blades, thanks to the Henson razor, which they produce at their aerospace machine shop, which also produces parts for the ISS, and perfectly holds the blade at a 30-degree angle and extends it only 0.0013 inches, less than the width of a human hair. In classic TLDR style, that's important for 3 reasons. Firstly, it's way cheaper. Those fancy blade cartridges aren't necessarily designed to provide a better shaving experience. They're about jacking up prices. Instead, Henson's razor takes standard blades that cost just 10 cents each, meaning that while the initial handle might be more expensive, in the long run, you'll save a ton of cash. Secondly, it's far better for the environment to be using individual blades than joining the 2 billion razor cartridges thrown away every year in the US alone, with Henson's products containing no plastic at all, even in their packaging. Finally, this superb engineering and precise blade tech just provides an incredible shave. If you want to try it out, click the link in the description, then add a razor and 100 blades to your cart. Then once you've done that, add our discount code TLDR at checkout and you'll get all of those blades totally free.